Good evening, everyone. Hello to everyone online. Um, I know not everyone has been living in New York or in the Northeast, but if you have, you know it's been darn cold the last few weeks. And just before we got started, I was talking to Tendo, and we were talking about how screwed up the subways have been. I'm assuming it's because of the cold, switches getting frozen and various other things going on. Do I have to? I'm sorry, there's like a, what am I doing?
Yeah, when they spotlight, they always do that.
Okay.
So we want later.
All right, later. And lo and behold, it's later. Thank you. Anyway, so I was thinking about these subway screw-ups. Like yesterday, I got out of my office at 23rd Street, and usually I have a 45-minute trip back to Brooklyn. But yesterday I had an hour and a half trip back to Brooklyn. And a similar thing happened today. And on one hand, since I want to get home after a day at the office, it was kind of frustrating, you know, subways being all jammed up. But another way of looking at it is it was really great to realize how little effort it took to be jammed up on the subway. It was a real natural process. So, you know, I got on at usual at 23rd Street. I was going to transfer to the F at Broadway Lafayette. And so we went one stop to 14th Street, and we sat there for about 15 minutes. And then they announced that it was going to go express to the end of the line and get the hell off unless you want to go to the end of the line. So, easy. Not happy, but easy. So I got up, I walked over to the R, waited for the R. The R showed up. There was congestion on the R, and so on the way, maybe was stopped, pausing 3-4 minutes at each station, one after the other, which added about 15 or 20 minutes to the trip to Brooklyn. But great, hey, here I am, I'm at J Street now. I'll just transfer over to the F. How do you do that? Well, it's easy. You just get on the escalator, you go over to the F. It all happens quite naturally. You go down to the platform and you wait for the F. Oh, the F's only 1 minute away. Great. Oh, the F is no longer running because there is a smoke condition at the stop before this one, and nothing's running. Sorry. Oh, all right. So now I have to get the A to the G. Good thing I know all this stuff, right? And so on and so forth. So on the one hand, very, very frustrating. I want to get home, and I'm not getting home as fast as I want to. On the other hand, very easy. This train isn't running, you go over to that train. That train isn't running, you go over to this train. If one more train hadn't been running, I would have had to call car service, which I hate to do because I'm real cheap. But really very easy. It's what they call wu-wei, no effort. It didn't take any effort at all to be screwed up on the subway, all jammed up. Why not? Well, because this was the unfolding of the Buddha Dharma. That's all it was. And that's a gift. That's the gift of who we are. To be this moment by moment unfolding of the Buddha Dharma. And it really takes no effort at all. Sometimes, we have to put our backs into things, but the Dharma unfolds according to causes and conditions without fail. And of course, we have a great method for investigating this miracle, and it's called zazen. Dogen Zenji calls it an unfabricated, wondrous method. Unfabricated because all you're doing is sitting there and letting it happen, basically. And if you're sitting there trying to get enlightened or trying to get into some kind of la-la state, well, that's your zazen for that half hour. I hope you enjoy it. But actually, it's the Dharma gate of comfort and ease, Dogen said, quoting from the third ancestor. And so it unfolds. We sit, thoughts come up. We don't have to figure out how to make thoughts come up. Our brain just does that for us. We don't have to figure out how to make our hearts beat. It's all taken care of. We don't have to figure out how to make our legs ache. Just happens quite naturally. And then when we get up for kinhin, the ache goes away, hopefully. Again, not because we've figured anything out, because that's what happens according to causes and conditions. Usually you sit still for a length of time and something starts to ache. You get up and it stops aching. You sit down, it usually starts aching again. But it's wu-wei, quite easy. And so this, what this shows is this unfolding of the Dharma. Dogen Zenji says, it allows all things. It allows all things to manifest. It allows all things to manifest as realization and to practice going beyond in the path of letting go. I think that's a wonderful description of zazen. All things come forth in realization. Our aches, our pains, our worries, our delights. The sound of something hissing there, the HVAC system. All things come forth in realization. And practice going beyond in the path of letting go. Practice going beyond Buddha, because there isn't anything that stops moving and becomes Buddha. Buddha is nothing but going beyond and going beyond and going beyond. A breath here, a thought there, an ache there. No? This is a zazen we all do, right? Effortless, wu-wei. All things to come forth in realization and practice going beyond in the path of letting go. Letting go is the path. Allowing things to unfold is the path. Surfing the waves one after the other is the path. Letting go, not trying to make some particular mental state happen, but allowing the thoughts to arise, letting them go, watching them fall away, new thoughts arise, new sensations arise, sounds, smells, the whole bit, right? It all happens wu-wei, Just like getting jammed up on the subway, it happens without effort. Now, what does Dogen mean when he says all things arise in realization, as realization? What is this realization he talks about? Well, according to our study text, realization is the undivided activity of all things, moment after moment after moment. Why is it undivided? Well, as he's talking about it in this particular fascicle, it's undivided between birth and death. Birth being a sensation arises, and just as it arises, it falls away into the next moment. And so there is no arising without disappearing. There's no birth without separate from death. The moment can never stay stuck or fixed. It arises and has to die away at the same time. And this is what we experience in zazen. It's a miracle, and yet it's quite ordinary. It's just an ache in our legs that appears out of nowhere and then falls away. Sometimes doesn't mean the ache goes away, but that moment of experiencing the ache becomes a different moment immediately. Birth and death are undivided, and as a result of that, things change. As a result of that, we have the opportunity, if we practice, to learn and to grow. We also have the opportunity to say, oh, well, I'm in it anyway. I can just sit here in my lazy boy, drink my beer. Yeah, you could do that too. So practicing diligently and learning and growing, that will result in one kind of life, and drinking beer in the lazy boy will result in another kind of life. Up to you, really. As Dogen says, Buddhas abide in this Dharma without leaving traces of consciousness about where they are. So they abide in it, they don't make a big deal of it. It's just as normal to a Buddha as it is to you and me. They don't leave traces of consciousness about where they are. Sentient beings are constantly walking around in this Dharma, but where they are does not appear in their consciousness. They don't realize it. They don't realize their opportunity to actualize this moment as undivided activity, as practice. And as a result, they can lose their opportunity to learn, grow, take care of themselves and take care of the world. So it's not that there's some hard and fast distinction between birth and death. And there's not that there's some hard and fast distinction between delusion and enlightenment. They exist as an undivided dynamic. They exist as undivided activity. Hongxi sort of made this point in one of his poems. He says, delusion and enlightenment are opposite, subtly communicated with simplicity. Yeah. Subtly communicated with simplicity. Sorry, Jack, the 4 isn't running. Go over to the R. Your leg is now aching. Subtly communicated with simplicity. Spring opens the 100 flowers with one puff. Birth. Power pulls back 9 bulls with one yank. Death. Undivided. Arising and vanishing, coming and going. And then Hongxi very compassionately directs us to a very important point. He says, it's hopeless. The mud and sand cannot be cleared away. Believe him. If your project is clearing away the mud and sand, making your mind a blank and free of thoughts, if your goal is to always feel good and never feel bad, it's hopeless. The mud and sand cannot be cleared away. The mud and sand is not different than the nirvana you think you are seeking. It's hopeless if that's your project. The mud and sand cannot be cleared away. Stopping up the eye of the sweet spring. If suddenly it burst forth, it would freely flow. Allow it to freely flow. Good, bad, right, wrong, enlightenment, delusion, an ache in the leg, no ache in the leg. A good government, a bad government. Allow it to freely flow. And then how do you flow? How do you actualize the truth? Upon letting it freely flow. How do you actualize realization through your own undivided activity, through your own arising and vanishing, through your own learning and growth and inquisitiveness and investigation and openness? Where do you find yourself? Fa Yan was excavating a well, and he found out the spring was blocked by mud and sand. He asked a monk, "This spring is blocked by mud and sand. When the eye of the Dharma is blocked, what is it blocked by?" Monk didn't know what he was talking about, so Fa Yan answered for him. He said, "It is blocked by the eye. It is blocked by the eye that's always looking for the Dharma instead of allowing it to freely flow. It's blocked by the eye. It's blocked by trying to attain something when everything is freely given moment after moment after moment of our lives. If only it would burst forth, it would freely flow. My hope for all of you is that you will take your zazen as a template for your entire life. And by sitting still and observing the free flow of the Dharma within you and without you, which is just a delusion anyway, it's all you. It's all you arising in this moment. It's all you actualizing itself at this very moment. It's your undivided activity at this moment. My hope for you is that you'll let it freely flow and see what comes out of your heart, your opened heart, your opened mind, not trying to attain something, but opening yourself up to life and to the entire world.